They thought the throne they threw in your path would make you bleed. What they didn't expect was that you'd use it to build your empire. That's the thing about cosmic balance. It never forgets. Every move, every word, every scheme, they all get tallied. And when the universe balances the scales, it does it in silence. But the results? Loud enough to shake their world. There's a force at play in this life that ensures nothing goes unseen. People can lie. They can plot. They can paint you as the villain in a story they're too afraid to star in themselves. But while they sit back, hoping you fail, the irony tightens its grip. Because every attempt they make to sabotage you becomes the very soil from which your power grows. They feed your rise and don't even know it. The critics, the whisperers, the ones who live to see your fall, they never realize they're just background noise in your victory song. The truth is, being chosen isn't just a label, it's a threat. Your presence disturbs the comfort of the mediocre. Your resilience haunts those who rely on manipulation. You are the reminder that no matter how many obstacles they manufacture, the universe bends in favor of those who walk with truth. Let them cast shadows. You are the storm that turns their lies to dust. You don't just bounce back, you return with lightning. If you're already feeling the fire rise, then this space is for you. Like, subscribe, and let's keep building this movement together, because the more they try to dim your light, the more they expose their fear of your shine. And trust this, your story isn't just surviving, it's rewriting fate. Number 1, never doubt the universe. It keeps receipts you forgot about. What they thought was a silent hit and run is actually a delayed explosion. See, the universe doesn't scream, it calculates. It doesn't strike in anger, it waits. Every word they twisted, every false rumor they dropped like poison into ears, every fake smile they wore while burying knives behind your back, it all gets logged. Nothing disappears into thin air. Not in this world. Not ever. They assumed that just because you didn't clap back, they won. That just because others believed them, the truth stopped existing. But here's what they'll never understand. Reality is patient. And consequences, even more so. Life is a perfect mirror, it doesn't rush, but when it reflects, it does so with brutal accuracy. What they launched into the world out of spite will orbit and circle back, straight into their own lives. Let them laugh now. Let them enjoy the attention, the momentary illusion of control. Their lies may have bent the narrative, but they can't hold it together forever. Lies are like unstable glass, clear enough to fool the eye, but crack one piece and the entire structure collapses. And collapse it will. They'll scramble to control the damage, cover one lie with another, patch holes with more deception, but they don't realize each patch is just another countdown. Meanwhile, you rise, quietly, powerfully. You grow in strength, clarity, and focus while they choke on the mess they created. Their drama becomes their own trap, and you don't even need to lift a finger. Here's the part that stings the most. The truth doesn't just come out, it erupts. At the exact moment they think they've sealed the deal, the spotlight turns. And when it does, it doesn't just reveal the truth, it burns away their disguise. People who once doubted you won't just apologize, they'll turn their backs on the liars they once believed. That's how universal balance works. It doesn't need your rage, it doesn't need your help, it just needs time. And when it arrives, it doesn't knock, it walks in like it owns the place. The people who tried to write you off will watch you rewrite the story, with them as the cautionary tale. What they thought was a victory will be the very blueprint of their downfall and the brilliance of it all. They set it in motion themselves. Their downfall is the echo of the chaos they created. So don't waste your energy trying to fix the lies or explain yourself to temporary minds. The truth is a lion. It doesn't need to be defended. It just needs to be unleashed. Let them live in the illusion. Your clarity, your growth, your rise. That is the correction to every false word spoken. Number 2, stop chasing lies. The truth always outlasts the noise. Chosen ones, listen closely. Lies are loud for a reason. They're desperate. They flash like fireworks in a night sky, exploding for attention, stealing eyes for a split second, and then vanishing into smoke and silence. That's the thing about slander. It's built for the moment, not for the aftermath. It's a performance, not a fact. But the truth is different. The truth is timeless. It doesn't need to dance for applause or compete with chaos. It's like fine wine, quiet, deep, evolving in stillness. And when it's ready, it doesn't whisper. It shakes foundations. They may have thrown your name into gossip circles, hoping to paint your image with filth, thinking their words would define you. They wanted a reaction. They wanted destruction. But here's what they didn't prepare for: your silence, your composure, your patience. You didn't rush to clear your name because you knew truth doesn't beg to be seen. It arrives with authority. The liars, they're exhausted. Keeping a lie alive is like holding water in cupped hands. It leaks, it spills. It eventually exposes the truth they worked so hard to bury. One crack, and their entire script crumbles. That's when the real panic begins. They start rewriting, covering, spinning, and the more they scramble, the more obvious their guilt becomes. Meanwhile, you don't flinch, because your power was never in the noise. It was in the inevitability. While they tried to dim your light, you became a storm. And when your truth finally rises, it won't just set the record straight. It will detonate their narrative. It'll rip through every lie and force the world to look twice at them, not you. So let them talk. Let them enjoy their temporary illusion. Because what's coming for them isn't revenge, it's reality. Cold, unavoidable, final. And when that truth hits, it won't just sting. It'll bury their credibility so deep, they won't even recognize their own reflection. Number 3, don't let their words take root. You choose what grows. They spoke like cowards' low tones, shady corners, whispers coated in venom. Every word they uttered behind your back was planted like a seed, hoping it would rot your reputation, poison your progress, and tangle your path in thorns. But here's what they failed to understand. You're not the soil, you're the gardener. And the gardener decides what grows and what dies. They thought you'd absorb the lies, that you'd crumble under the weight of their gossip, that your identity would wither under the shadow they cast. But you looked those poisonous seeds in the eye and said, "Watch me." You didn't water their words with pain, you alchemized them. Every insult they threw became your blueprint for elevation. Every slander was fuel. Every attempt to bury you became another reason to rise. They tried to plant chaos, but all they did was hand you raw materials for greatness. You turned their venom into vitamins, their doubt into direction, their manipulation into momentum. And now, look around. What's growing isn't destruction, it's dominance, it's beauty, it's power. You've built a garden they never saw coming, a vision so strong it silences every rumor with proof. Their goal was to break you. What they created instead was someone unstoppable. Here's the real twist. While they were trying to write your ending, you were rewriting the entire story. Their words were just the intro. You are the plot twist, the author, the force. And now they have to watch the very thing they tried to destroy bloom into something untouchable, something unforgettable. You. They thought they were controlling the narrative, but all along they were just background noise in your masterpiece. You used their hate to sharpen your focus. You used their betrayal to sculpt your strength. You turned their seeds into roots of power. That's what it means to be chosen. They scattered bitterness, hoping it would grow weeds. But you grew wildflowers in the fire. And now, every step you take is a reminder that they never had control. You're thriving, they're watching, and they're haunted by the reality that their own actions built the stage for your victory. Number 4. Don't be fooled by their smile. Guilt eats loudest in silence. Chosen ones, don't be fooled by their performance. The louder they laugh, the more they're trying to drown out the truth. The more confident they seem, the more their conscience is crawling under their skin. People who slander your name, who build their fake confidence by dragging your reputation into the dirt, can only fake peace for so long. Because guilt is a ghost that never sleeps. It doesn't scream, it whispers. In the silence, in the stillness, when there's no one left to impress. They thought lying about you would elevate them. They thought playing the puppet master in your downfall would win them status. But here's the thing they never saw coming. That power they gained. It's hollow. Empty victories rot fast. Every success they chase now is poisoned. Because deep down, they know they didn't earn it. They stole it. And every time they try to smile, that guilt scratches at the back of their mind like nails on glass. The universe doesn't need to humiliate them in public for justice to begin. It often starts in private. When the crowd goes quiet, when the lights go out, when they finally sit alone with their thoughts. That's when the reckoning begins. No one escapes it. And no, you don't need to lift a finger, because their punishment isn't coming, it's already started. It's the weight they carry, the unease that follows them, the shame that no amount of pretending can bury. They'll try to numb it with distractions, parties, performances, validation. But none of it sticks, because you can't outrun what lives inside you. You can't escape a mirror that shows your real reflection. So while they act unbothered in public, understand this: they're haunted behind closed doors. The lies they told about you didn't vanish into thin air, they boomerang. They stain. And over time, that stain spreads until even they can't ignore it. Let them pretend. Let them perform. The weight of their own actions will eventually bend them. Because the chosen ones don't chase revenge, we are the reason their guilt exists in the first place. And that's a burden they'll carry long after the audience is gone. Number 5. Don't fear the shadow. It only means the light is behind you. Chosen ones, let them cast shadows. Let them spread lies like wildfire, thinking they've dimmed your light. What they'll never understand is that shadows are temporary. They stretch long, they look intimidating, but they only exist when light is present. And guess what? You are the light. A lie is nothing more than a quick smudge on a mirror. It distorts, it distracts. but it can never redefine the reflection. When they whispered behind your back, when they flooded ears with stories meant to bury your name, they thought they'd rewritten the narrative. But here's the truth they ignored. A shadow only belongs to the one casting it. And what they tried to throw over you was really just a reflection of their own fear, envy, and weakness. They forgot that darkness is exhausting. Lies need maintenance, constant reinforcement, backup lies, strategic damage control. But the truth doesn't beg to be seen. It waits, calm and consistent, like the sun behind the storm. It doesn't force its way through, it simply outlasts the chaos. And when it breaks through, it does so without apology. The bigger your light, the more desperate they become to cover it. That's why they came for you in the first place. You triggered something in them. Your confidence, your growth, your presence. It became a threat to their illusion. And so they did what weak people always do. They tried to dim what they couldn't dominate. But they didn't realize that every lie they told chipped away at their own credibility, not yours. The more effort they put into burying you, the more obvious it becomes that they feared your rise. And now, as their web of deception starts to collapse, they'll find themselves trapped in the very darkness they created. Chosen ones, let the shadow pass. Stand still. Stay silent. Because the truth doesn't scream, it shines. And when your light fully breaks through, it won't just expose the liars. It will blind them. They tried to make you look like the problem. Now, they'll be the ones everyone sees clearly for who they really are. Your light was never theirs to touch. And no matter how long the night lasts, the sun always returns. Number 6. Don't waste energy on revenge. Let karma handle the cleanup. Chosen ones. When they lie about you, when they drag your name through the dirt and smile while doing it, the fire to strike back is real. The need to expose them, to crush them with truth, to make them feel every ounce of what they put you through, it can burn so deep it feels like justice. But here's the part they'll never understand. Silence from the powerful isn't surrender, it's strategy. You've reached a level where their betrayal doesn't define you, it defines them. Their actions don't stain your reputation. They tattoo their own character for the world to see. You were never the problem. They just couldn't handle your presence. And when someone tries to destroy what they can't control, it says more about their fear than your flaws. Revenge, that's a cheap currency. And not everyone deserves a transaction with you. Giving them your rage is giving them real estate in your mind. And trust me, they haven't earned that privilege. While they spiral in the mess they created, you rise. Effortlessly, silently, unbothered. And nothing haunts them more than watching the person they tried to break become untouchable. You don't need to play their petty games. They're already trapped in a maze of their own lies, and every corner they turn brings them closer to collapse. You're out here building something sacred, your peace, your power, your purpose. And that's a battlefield they'll never survive on. Let them swing in the dark. Let them throw dirt with both hands. You stay clean. You stay elevated. Because the kind of fall that's coming for them won't come from you. It'll come from within. Their own words will choke them. Their bitterness will rot everything they touch. And the silence you held, that'll echo louder than any revenge ever could. You're not letting them get away with it. You're just choosing to win differently, quietly, permanently. And when they finally realize they can't touch you, that's when the real punishment begins. Number 7. Don't rush to expose them. Time will unmask everything. Chosen ones, let them talk. Let them shine for now in their fake glory. Because time has never lost a battle. They wore masks so polished they almost fooled the world, painted themselves as the victim, made you look like the enemy. They rehearsed their lies like lines in a play, perfected every detail, made sure their voice cracked in just the right place to earn sympathy. And maybe for a moment, people believed it. Maybe you were even left standing in the shadow of their performance, silenced by disbelief. But here's the thing about masks: they sweat, they crack, and eventually they fall. Lies are heavy, and the ones who live by them have to carry that weight everywhere. Every room they walk into, every conversation they twist, it takes effort to keep the story straight. And no matter how slick they are, time is the one thing they can't outsmart. Because time is ruthless. It doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, and it doesn't play favorites. It just waits and reveals. The web they've spun will start unraveling with just one thread. A detail that doesn't add up. A contradiction they can't explain. A moment they forget the script. And that's when people start watching differently. That's when the same audience they fooled begins to see the cracks. Their supporters, they won't stay loyal to a sinking ship. While they scramble to cover holes in their fake story, you stay still, you stay silent. You don't chase their lies, you let them trip over them. Because the truth doesn't need defending, it just needs time, and time always tells. Their downfall won't come from anything you do. It'll be the weight of their own dishonesty collapsing in on itself like a burning stage. The applause will stop, the spotlight will fade, and what will remain? Just them, exposed and alone. Chosen one, your power is that you don't need to wear a mask. You walk in truth. You don't have to perform, you exist. And eventually, even those who doubted you will see exactly who was real and who was just putting on a show. Time doesn't just expose the truth, it makes sure it wins. Number 8, don't let reputation shake you. Character can't be faked. They tried to stain your name with cheap words. They whispered behind closed doors, twisted your story, and thought that if they repeated the lie loud enough, it would become your truth. But what they didn't calculate was, you're not built from surface-level approval. You're built from something they'll never touch, unshakable character. Reputation, that's smoke, a fragile illusion people chase like it defines their worth. It can rise overnight and collapse before sunrise. All it takes is one rumor, one screenshot, one manipulated narrative, and boom. Reputation crumbles because it was never rooted in truth to begin with. But character is forged in silence, in struggle, in the way you show up when no one's clapping. It's who you are when the mask comes off. And that's why they hate you. Because no matter how many lies they throw at your image, they can't dent your foundation. They can stain perception, but they can't rewrite essence. The irony is sharp. In trying to destroy your reputation, they exposed their own. Every fake story, every backhanded compliment, every smear campaign they launched didn't reveal you, it revealed them. Their insecurity, their jealousy, their inability to measure up without tearing someone else down. But time is your ally, chosen one. Time reveals patterns, and slowly, the same people who were quick to believe lies will start noticing the cracks. They'll compare words to actions, and the truth will roar louder than the noise ever could. When your character walks into the room, false narratives don't stand a chance. Let them talk. Let them pretend. Let them gather their little crowds. Because while they play dirty in public, you rise quietly with dignity. And in the end, when everything is stripped bare, they'll be left with a broken image, while you stand clothed in authenticity. You're not who they said you were. You never were. And when the dust clears, the world will see it too. Their reputation was built on sand, but your character, that's carved in stone. Number 9, stop seeking approval. Validation is a trap for the insecure. Chosen ones, validation is cheap, and you are not. You weren't built for the crowd. You weren't made to beg for claps from people who only cheer for the easy, the fake, the loud. You were designed for impact, not popularity. The ones who slandered your name, the ones who twisted the truth just to steal a moment of spotlight. They were never powerful. They were hungry, starving for relevance, starving for significance. And so they lied, fabricated, performed, all to distract from their own emptiness. Because when someone has no substance, all they can do is seek attention. But you're not playing that game. You don't need flashing lights or fake fans. Your validation isn't external, it's internal. It's in the way you keep rising without their applause. It's in how you keep moving, even when they try to erase your name. You are the storm they pretend not to see, while secretly bracing for its impact. Here's the twist that eats them alive. The more they try to expose you, the more they expose themselves. Their desperation for attention highlights exactly how hollow they are. Meanwhile, you keep building, quietly, steadily. And while they chase short-lived recognition, you're leaving behind a legacy. The truth. It doesn't need to be proven to the wrong audience. Let them misunderstand. Let them gossip. Your path isn't for public approval, it's for fulfillment, purpose, and evolution. Most won't get it. That's the point. Being chosen means standing apart. It means moving different. It means shaking the ground without needing anyone to say, "Good job." They'll never understand the power of walking forward in silence, of not reacting, of not explaining. That's what haunts them, your ability to thrive without needing their permission. Their lies scream for attention. Your presence whispers authority. Chosen ones, remember this true power isn't loud. It's quiet, unshaken, and completely unbothered. Validation? That's for performers. You're not here to perform. You're here to conquer. And when your success arrives, it won't need a microphone. It will speak in results they can't ignore, and in silence that screams louder than their noise ever did. Number 10. Don't argue with liars. Their own words will destroy them. Chosen ones, understand this. When someone builds a house out of lies, it may stand for a moment, but the storm always comes. And the storm is truth. They spoke with confidence. They whispered their venom into ears that were too eager to listen. For a while, it worked. Their words spread like wildfire, convincing the blind, entertaining the bitter. They thought they were clever, crafting a narrative to paint you as the villain in a story they created to cover their own insecurities. But what they never saw coming was this. Words carry weight, and when they're drenched in lies, that weight becomes unbearable. Every false statement, every twisted version of the truth they told, it's stacking up, not in their favor, but against them. They thought they were weaving a net to trap you, but they were only tying the rope that would unravel their own illusion. Truth doesn't rush, it doesn't scream, it doesn't compete with noise. But when it arrives like an earthquake, and the facade they built crumbles into dust. All it takes is one crack, one inconsistency, one witness, one fact that doesn't fit. And suddenly, their entire narrative collapses under the pressure of its own lies. Here's the beauty of it all. You don't have to expose them. Their own words will do it for you. Every lie they told is a time bomb ticking away, waiting to detonate. And when the truth hits, it won't just correct the story, it will annihilate the foundation they built to destroy you. The same mouths that once slandered you will be the reason for their downfall. Not because you fought back, but because truth doesn't need armor, it is the weapon. The same people who cheered them on will begin to see the cracks. The support they once had will vanish when reality sets in. And when that happens, they'll be left standing in the rubble, exposed. So stay silent, stay sharp. Let the liars dig their own graves with the very words they once used to bury you. Because when truth rises, it doesn't just clear your name, it buries theirs. Number 11. Don't lower yourself. Your success is their worst punishment. There's no pain sharper for your enemies than watching you shine after they tried to bury you. That's the part they never calculated. They thought the lies would break you. They thought the smear campaign would leave you isolated, begging to be understood. Instead, you walked through the fire and came out wearing the flames. Every step forward you take now echoes like thunder in their ears. They tried to sabotage you in silence, but your success, it's loud, it's public, it's humiliating for them. Your growth is the mirror they can't stand to look into because it reflects the truth they tried to erase. You're still standing, still rising, and that fact alone shatters every illusion they worked so hard to build. They believed they could write the final chapter of your story. But now, you're the author. And with every win, you're rewriting the narrative they hoped would bury you. Let them sit in their bitterness while you move in silence, stacking victories like bricks. What they don't realize is this. You were built from everything they threw at you. The slander, that became your armor. The betrayal, that became your motivation. The doubt, that became your drive. They wanted you small, scared, and silent, but you've become their biggest fear, unbreakable and untouchable. Here's what hits them hardest. They'll never get credit for your strength, but deep down, they know they helped forge it. That knowledge will haunt them. Every time they see you level up, every time your name rings louder than their lies ever did, it'll sting. And they won't show it. They'll pretend it doesn't bother them. But behind closed doors, the silence will scream. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And they're stuck, locked in the same cycle of bitterness, trying to figure out why none of their games worked. Chosen ones, your growth is their consequence. Your rise is the karma they never saw coming. Keep building, keep glowing, because nothing is more powerful than letting your life expose every lie they ever told. Number 12. Don't underestimate the watchers. Silent eyes see everything. They thought they were winning because the room was quiet. No outrage, no one stepping in to defend you, just silence. But what they never realized is that silence doesn't mean ignorance, it means observation. And the people they didn't see, they were the most dangerous ones of all, the silent witnesses. While they were busy spinning lies like a spider in panic, trying to trap you in a web of deceit and fake narratives. There were eyes, watching, calm, collected, unmoving, the observers. They didn't argue, they didn't get involved, but they saw everything and they remembered everything. Every smirk, every manipulated coincidence, every twisted version of your character. It all got filed away in the minds of those who knew something didn't add up. And when the smoke clears, and it will, those people won't stay quiet. They'll speak, and when they do, it won't be with opinions. It'll be with facts. That's when the liars fall hardest, when their own circle starts to turn on them. The truth doesn't need to scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply waits. And the most powerful part of your story isn't the moment you defended yourself. It's the moment the truth stood up without you saying a word. You see, chosen ones, your presence was enough. You didn't have to explain or prove anything. Those who were paying attention saw through the cracks. They saw your composure. They saw how you didn't retaliate, how you kept your head up while others tried to tear you down. And that silence, that's what made your truth so loud. When the reckoning hits, and it will, it won't just be karma setting things straight. It'll be people. People who never forgot how wrong you were done. People who finally speak, not because you asked, but because the truth demands it. You don't need a crowd. You don't need a defense. You just need time. Because the truth always had witnesses, and they're about to speak. And when they do, the ones who built their lies on a shaky stage will find the spotlight turning on them, revealing everything they tried so hard to hide. If this message hit home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps this truth reach those walking the same path. Stay sharp, stay silent, and keep rising.